Brandon, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming. What do you do?
I recently got a job as a consultant at Capgemini. I am in the digital customer experience team. So that's the design Salesforce team. I applied for the job back in, I think it was more like August. They had like 25,000 applications. So it took about 4 to 5 months for them to get back to me. And within 2 weeks, I got the job. Now I'm here.
Amazing. What do you mean when you say Salesforce and design? What does that actually look like?
So I'm in the functional team. So a lot of my job is being a BA and configuring Salesforce solutions to clients. I'm still in training, and I haven't been assigned an actual project yet because I have to study for my certification. So once I get that done, I will mostly be doing client engagement, requirements gathering. I think I get to design some user interfaces with Salesforce. So my job is more front end, like figuring out what the client wants and then telling the smart people what to do.
Awesome. I'm sure you're very smart though.
Maybe, yeah.
I think so. So you've got this job, Capgemini, seems pretty awesome. It wasn't always that way, was it? I mean, back in the day, getting jobs felt a bit more difficult.
Yeah, I went to uni to do a degree in information systems after I graduated. It took a while for me to get a job. I started applying and I realized how difficult it was to actually get a job. And that's when I got desperate and I went to LinkedIn and the grad jobs ad popped up on my feed for a free call. So I clicked on it and I had a chat with Anchovy and it sounded pretty promising. So I joined grad jobs. And then since then, I realized how much I didn't know about the job market because uni doesn't really teach you. You don't really learn these things in uni, things like networking, how to write good cover letters, how to fix your resume, how to build your connections and all that. I felt like I had to relearn everything from zero, but it was a good investment. And it's definitely going to help me for the rest of my career because you're told to just get a degree and then just apply for jobs. And then they make it sound easy, but it's really extremely difficult. Or in my case and in many people's cases. I think many people go to uni, like you just expected to have everything figured out before you even go to uni. But at 18, you don't really know anything. So you go into uni thinking you like something. I wanted to be a software engineer at first, but I really did not like programming. So I shifted to more design, more like relationship building, like being a BA, being a designer. And yeah, after uni, I was applying to any job that came up. And I think that's a really bad strategy because it's so competitive these days. And because there are so many people that know what they want and you're going up against people who are like experienced in something, it's really hard to get a job as a fresh grad. So I think the help from grad jobs helping me to identify what I really want to do helped a lot. Months after that, I got an internship in UI UX, and I think I enjoyed that a lot more than being like a software engineer. So that's when I actually knew I wanted to be in like a client-facing or design role. The reason I got this job was because I think the interviewer knew that I was sure of what I wanted. I came across as confident, well-spoken, because I've already had like mentorship from grad jobs. So that really helped me a lot. I knew that I didn't want to be a programmer because I was really bad at it and I didn't really have the desire to get any good at it. Like getting good at programming doesn't make me happy or bring me fulfillment. And I was pretty lost at first because when I spoke to Anchovy, he asked me a few questions that I couldn't answer. So things like, what do you want to do for your career and where do you see yourself like a few years from now? And I couldn't really answer those questions. So I just said I didn't know. I think he respected my honesty.
Yeah, awesome. So that first part was all kind of about figuring out where do I want to, like, what really interests me? And I think also, what are you good at? Because I think you know that you've always been good at communication, especially with your experience as a barista. You enjoyed the client-facing things during projects. So that all made sense. And then the next step, I suppose, was to go from, okay, I know what I want. Now, how do I actually bridge the gap, get into a client-facing like BA role or a design role or something like that? And that's where the internship kind of helped, right? Gave you a bit more hands-on experience.
Yeah, because I worked for a startup, so everyone had to do everything. It wasn't like, an intern was only doing designing, but the intern was doing the presenting, writing up documents, talking to clients. So I was exposed to many things, which is good when you work for a startup. When I was exposed to an actual project, I sort of figured out that I was good at talking to people, like communicating. So I leaned into that. That's why I got put in the functional team.
And how did you get the UX internship?
So one of my connections introduced me to a startup founder, and he was looking for interns. And so he set up a call with me. He said he liked my attitude, so he put me on his team for a project.
So no application, just kind of network.
Yeah, it was purely networking. I think he didn't post anything on social media about an opening.
Awesome. So now everything's starting to fall into place. You got a bit of experience trying to figure things out, talking to people, getting some mentors, did the internship with the startup, gained tons of skills, and then comes along the opportunity to work with Capgemini.
Yeah, so I wasn't expecting to get a job, to be honest. I was just, okay, this looks like something that might be interesting. So I just applied, and then I used the tips from your course, fixing your resume, writing a good cover letter, networking with people from the company. But for Capgemini, I didn't network with anyone. I think part of it was luck as well, because they said my application was good. One of the HR recruiters gave me a call, and then I got passed on to the next round. Capgemini hires a lot based on soft skills. Having that mentorship really helped my personality stand out too during the phone call.
And like you mentioned before, I think because you'd spent so long figuring out which career path was right for you, that obviously made a big difference, right? Because a lot of employers are looking for someone who actually wants the job, not someone who's spamming applications.
Yeah, someone who's not afraid to be themselves, because a lot of graduates try to fake their way into a job. They say they like something when they don't. And I think, people can pick up on that very easily if you're not being authentic. Going through that mentorship journey really helped me be more confident in myself.
The other thing that's really cool about your story, one thing I love about it, a lot of graduates, they're looking for a really quick win, right? I want to become a business analyst. Give me a job right now. And I want to be earning 6 figures right now. They don't really understand how the world works.
Yeah, they want everything fast. So I think it's better to go slow and steady than fast.
If you could give some advice to students and graduates, what would you say to them? What are the big things you've learned?
I think probably the most important is if you're unsure about something, it's fine to ask for help rather than doing it over and over again and just wasting your time. It's better to just get someone who knows what they're doing or they have done it before and just ask for some advice. I think that saves you a lot of time. The second one is there's nothing wrong with going slow. I think it's better to go slow because I'm someone who burns out very quickly if I keep sprinting. So I like walking, if that makes sense. And the third one is to know how to take breaks. You don't have to be doing job applications all the time. It's okay to stop and not do anything and then get back to it when you feel ready. It's not really job hunting is not a race, because I used to compare myself with people who got internships or grad roles out of uni, and that I felt like I had to do more just to catch up. But it's fine to go at your own pace and don't compare yourself to other people.
And if you could go back, what would you change?
I think I would not listen to people as much, because you get a lot of advice from people who mean well. You have to start asking yourself what you really want, and not because you're living for yourself and you're not living for someone else. Especially your parents, they want what's best for you, so they ask you to do become an engineer, become a lawyer, but it doesn't work if it's not what you want and you're unhappy when you do it. So I think if I could go back, I would start listening to myself more instead of other people's opinion. Just being yourself is the best way to go.
I love it. What would you say are the big mistakes that you see people making?
Following their friends. So if in school, when your friend says, I want to be a doctor, and you don't really know what to do at the time, so you just follow your friend, I'll be a doctor too, because I don't really know what I want to do. I think that's a really bad way to go about it, because everyone's different. Just because he wants to be a doctor doesn't mean you want to be a doctor. Because when I was picking my degree, I was influenced by my friends as well, because many of them were going to be software engineers. And so I just went along because my friends are going, so I'm going too. Yeah. And another one is, I think it's pretty common. I'm sure you know, like just mass applying to any job, even if you have no interest, like no experience in that job. And the other one is applying for a job solely based on prestige and income. People call it golden handcuffs. Have you heard of it? Like a prestigious job is like putting yourself in golden handcuffs. It's comfortable, but it's not uncomfortable enough for you to make a change.
Yeah.
I think that resonates with many people.
A few people that I've met through grad jobs got offers at Capgemini.
Yeah.
And I think from what I've heard from them, it's a pretty good place to work. So hopefully you find it the same.
Yeah, it is. Like the people that I've met have been here for 10, 20 years. They say it's a great place to work. So I'm pretty happy I got this job. I remember during the interview, he asked me a few questions that I didn't know. I just said, "Oh, I don't really know, but I want to learn." Yeah, I think it was a test to see whether or not you would admit that you didn't know. I actually had like a coffee chat with one of the senior consultants, and he told me that sometimes he looks at something and he says, "I don't know what this is." Even the lead consultant, because it's fine to not know everything.
100%. Yeah. Was that Plato? Oh no, it was Socrates. He said, "All I know is that I know nothing."
Yeah, that one, something like that.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's fine, like as a grad, if you don't know what you're doing, you get better at figuring things out as you get more experience. Not just in work, but in everything.
100%. It's a journey. It's all a journey. That's what I love about life. It's so interesting.
Yeah, ups and downs.
We're all just trying to figure things out.
Yeah, even you, like you said from the start, you're still figuring out some stuff with your own business, being a business owner, and that's normal.
Yeah. Anyway, we could talk forever, but I'll let you go back to work. So
yeah,
thank you so much for your time, and please do keep in touch. And I hope this podcast was useful for some people out there.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Brandon.
See ya.